Morning coverage in Puyallup continues at the Washington State Fair this morning.
Liz is there, and good morning. So we're talking about going down a trip down memory lane.
Yeah, guys, exactly. A trip down memory lane. Good morning. You know, the fair, so much of what it makes it exciting is some of that nostalgia, right? Every single year you want to go back, you want to kind of relive that. But I was actually surprised to learn how long the Washington State Fair has been around. So we're taking you down an even longer trip down memory lane, all the way back to 1900 with the history of the fair. Take a look.
The excitement echoing from colorful rides, the aroma of sweet fried food, and the crunch of the straw under your feet as you greet a goat in the barn, all while the sun shines on a crisp September afternoon.
It's like Christmas and the 4th of July and Easter kind of all rolled into one.
For many in Western Washington, those are the familiar memories year after year at the Washington State Fair, including CEO Kent Hojum, who's been with the fair for 23 years.
It's one thing that separates fairs in general from practically any other form of entertainment is the fact that you engage all the senses.
It's been a total sensory experience that generations have shared since 1900, when the fair first began, all started by a group of local farmers and merchants.
So the champion of the fair in those days was a gentleman named Doc Chamberlain. As I understand it, he didn't sleep the night before the first day because he didn't know if anybody was going to show up.
But people did show up, entering at a makeshift main gate, a hole organizers made in a 10-foot fence. Little did anyone know in 1900 their humble fair in the valley was something very big in the making.
What if they'd had a washout? What if it had rained like crazy for all 4 days? Definitely possible in Western Washington, particularly in October. And yet people came, people wanted it. It's sort of kismet, you know what I mean? The excitement, the whole idea of creating something that would extend beyond them, beyond their generation.
Dubbed the Valley Fair, newly elected board members even sold shares of stock for $1 to raise money for the event, something families in Western Washington still actually have.
It is really a thing that's been handed down from generation to generation.
About a decade later in 1913, as the fair grew and evolved, the Valley Fair became the Western Washington Fair. And of course,
do the Puyallup.
Who could forget the mid-70s when fairgoers began to do the Puyallup?
It was a beloved name, and the song still lurks out there, as it should. It's a great ditty.
Do the Puyallup.
Yep, a song that's part of our state's pop culture history that generations still recognize and has also seen its own evolution.
You can do it at a trot, you can do it at a gallop, you can do it real so.
Until 2013, when the Washington State Fair came to represent the iconic September event.
I don't care what you call it, really, as long as you continue to come.
But as things change at the fair, other things stay the same. The memories of those familiar sights, sounds, tastes, and smells live on.
All of those things harken back to what they did in that first year, that first fair.
Which is why every September, we keep coming back to the Washington State Fair for more.
Over time, I'm sure we'll continue to evolve, but for 118 years, people have been doing the Puyallup.
Do the Puyallup.
They certainly have, absolutely. And I feel like everyone has a memory of the Washington State Fair. We were actually talking earlier about one of my memories of the Washington State Fair was doing the Extreme Scream. It was one of the rides here, and I don't think I'll ever do that again because at the time I actually had a full belly of fair food. That was not a good memory, that's for sure. But there's so much coming up this morning. We are talking fair food. Some of